Okay, sweet. I'm gonna open up my rosé all day. Okay. Woo woo. Tonight I am drinking I Stole Kim's Goddamn House because that is the vibe, that is the time, that is the moment. I'm pretty sure Tom Girardi stole that too at some point. So cheers, everybody. You can snag your very own at nofilterwine.com, nofilterwine.com. This will be the last week that the Drag Me cans, which are these babies right here, last week, these are going to be available. So I suggest if you have not placed your order yet, please go and do that. They are a limited edition. So once they sell out, they're selling out. I'm probably going to go and order some myself after this because I want more Drag Me cans. But yes, Drag Me cans inspired by Potomac. On sale right now, nofilterwine.com. And of course, all the classics and the OGs are available too. Like I Stole Kim's Goddamn House. I'm ready to mention it all. Now tell me who'll go and check me, boo. And I'm ready to flip a table. I'm ready to get litty city tonight. All right. So tonight we are breaking down Erika Jayne's book, The Pretty Mess, chapters 4, 5, and 6. Anybody that doesn't want to be here, you are more than welcome to exit. You don't have to support this. I mean, we're not really trying to support her book. We're more of just trying to dissect it. And there's a lot to dissect in these 3 chapters. Everybody, oof, we're getting through the motions. We're getting through the chapters of her life. So let's start off with chapter 4. Oops, nofilterwine.com. That's right, Norma, nofilterwine.com. I got my hat today. Yay, Crystal, send me a pic with your no filter hat. Can we please get on with the tea? I'm sorry. Sorry, Lisa. Guys, Lisa's yelling at me in the live chat. Lisa Elia. Lisa L. Yeah. Okay. Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is called So It Burns. And so this is the chapter where we get into Erika Jayne's stripper past because everyone likes to be like, Erika Jayne used to be a stripper and that's how she found Tom. She was stripping in the strip clubs and she's a gold digger. Let's get into it. So the chapter opens up talking about her introducing Tom to Shakers, which is a go-go bar. And so she clarifies that in New Jersey, that clubs are not allowed to feature nudity and serve alcohol in the same business, which I thought was kind of strange because like you come here to Hollywood Boulevard and it's nothing but, titties and Liddy City kind of nights. You get, slippery nipple shots and you can get, a good burr. I mean, she's basically saying that the clubs that were popping off in New Jersey were basically like Hooters clubs. They were go-go clubs and they were bikini bars. She was primarily in the go-go clubs and occasionally would wear like the skimpy little bikinis in some of them as well. Thank you, Chrissy, for the badges, 3 badges. Thank you, Carrie Charles. Thank you guys so much for the badges. I really appreciate them. I really appreciate you guys supporting me in the podcast. Ansley, we had several strip clubs in Nashville that were bring your own. Oh, interesting. By BYOB, I guess because you can't serve it. I wonder if they would allow, if that was the thing that was happening in Jersey. Anyway, so she talks about she breaks down the logistics of clubs in New York. Then she talks about moving after she graduated high school. She moved over to New York City with Renee, her mother, and how her mother kind of had this like, oh, Erika needs me mentality. I have to, if Erika wants to go to New York City to pursue her ambitions, then I have to be there because Erika needs me. Even though we all know that Mama Renee was really just trying to catch up on the coattails and live Erika's life with her. She talks about meeting her friend Justine. They met in New York. And how she like really admired Justine because Justine was like doing it all on her own. And Mama Renee was just like, all right, Erika, you're 18 now. So if you're 18, you're going to pay rent or you're going to get out. And she was like, okay, well, I got to pay rent. And she's like, Justine, what do? I got to pay rent, girl. And Justine's like, well, we can hook on the corner or we can do dancing gigs because we're both dancers and we're both pursuing careers in entertainment. Let's do some dancing and we'll shake our titties, but we'll make sure that the nipples are covered. That way it's not full nudity. Boom. I agree with you, Gossip and Glass. Not loving her mom. Norma Maldonado, 2 badges for Liddy City. Titty Liddy City. Yes. 2 badges for each lit. Thank you for each tit. Thank you, Norma. So Justine's like, listen up, Erika Chahoy. Because she wasn't Girardi or Jayne, yeah, but she was Erika Chahoy. And Justine's like, listen up, Erika Chahoy. I found this place. And this place is called The Palace. And it's in Pasek. Pasek, yeah. And it's called the Palace, and it's in Pasek, New Jersey. And it's going to be a great gig for us because it's a gentleman's club. And so obviously they're gentlemen, so they're going to be nice to us, which, you know, I was in Vegas over the weekend and I saw a lot of gentlemen's clubs. I didn't go into any of them, but there was one club called the Library. And I was like, wow, that's really nice. I want to go to a club called the Library. It's a gentleman's club. Like, obviously, you know, I'm going to meet some great guys there that are very well read. They like to stay educated. Like, that's the kind of man I want, a man from the Library in Las Vegas. So they ended up getting the gig. It was a bikini bar, and Erika was like, we would wear these teeny tiny, itsy bitsy, teeny weeny bikinis. And Justine was like, okay, but like, I'm going into this, and even though my name is Justine, we need an alter ego. I need an alter persona name, similar to like what Erika developed later as Erika Jayne. And Justine was like, I'm not going to be Justine. Oh, Pusiak. Like, that sounds like Pusiak. Is that what it's called? Pusiak, New Jersey? Pasiak. Okay, you get what I'm trying to say. Google the Palace in New Jersey and it'll come up. I found it is actually still open today. So anyway, Justine's like, we need an alter ego. So instead of being Justine, I'm going to be Justice. My name is Justice because it's, you know, similar to Justine, but it's kind of my stripper name. And I don't want to use, you know, my first dog's name and the street that I grew up on. So basically they would dance in 30-minute shifts. They would be in their little itsy bitsy micro bikinis is how Erika described it. And she said that it felt insane just going out there and dancing for these dudes. But she had a very hustler mentality, and her goal was to go in there and get some money for the rent so that they could actually, you know, not be on the streets, even though it doesn't seem like Renee was really going to be on the streets. But Renee clearly put a lot of that money noise onto Erika and was like, we need money. Erika clarifies that it wasn't a high roller sort of strip club joint. It was very, you know, I got dollar bills, and, you know, I just need to let my wife think I'm working at my McDonald's shift and let her know that I love her, even though I'm really, you know, loving Justice on the pole over there. To clarify, there weren't actually any poles. So Erika said that her and Justine just really saw this as a dancing gig rather than like a stripper gig. She said that she would make connections, and they would kind of with other dancers, and they would, you know, let each other know what shifts needed to be picked up, what clubs were popping, what clubs were really hot, who was looking for girls. And so that's kind of, you know, they had their own little sorority of dancers. She also talks about the naval base, and she says that the naval base was actually seized by the feds at one point while she was making her rounds, and she never went back to the naval base after that. I'm mentioning a lot of these names because they may be helpful. Wink, wink. When we get into the quiz time at the end, I'm going to be giving away some merch, so get ready. So she talks about the naval base. That's a place that was seized by the feds, which is interesting because she talked about being part of wearing a wire for a federal investigation. Unclear of whether or not the naval base getting seized by the feds was what she was referring to when she was talking about it this season on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's possible. I believe we get further into it in the book in a couple of chapters later. Don't quote me on that. This may be the only time she references that, but I do believe the naval base is what she was referring to when they were playing that 2 Truths and a Lie game earlier this season on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She talks about Shakers and how Shakers ended up getting burned down, but if they were so cheesy, she said that their slogan was Shakers, so hot it burns, which is very cheesy. She said that everyone that danced in New Jersey all looked like Snooki before Snooki was a real thing, but she was like, I'm going to be different. It's going to be expensive to be me, even though I'm BROKE. And how she would wear this bright red lipstick and she wouldn't do the tans, and she had this really long blonde hair, and she would wear sexy ankle boots instead of high heels. I was like, okay, did it get you any extra cash? Did it get you any more dollar bills? So, okay, this is the other interesting part in relation to the naval base. She said, I never saw any illegal activity around me, but I was so young and stupid, I didn't know what to look for. So maybe she wasn't cooperating with the feds at that point. Maybe the feds thing is later on. She also talks about a guy named Lobotomy John who would drive all the girls home, and he would always offer them fruit cups. And he was always like, do you want a fruit cup? You want a fruit cup? You want a fruit cup? And she was like, no, I don't want a fucking fruit cup. And then eventually she was like, fine, I'll take a fruit cup. And then she said it was like a basic fruit cup. He just had a thing for fruit cups. And I was like, all right, Lobotomy John, Don't be offering me no fruit cups. And then she also talks about, she mentions Anthony, who was a club manager, who one day he pulled her aside and he's like, Erika, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. And she was like, what do you mean? And she refers to him as her gangster angel because she never wanted to be there. And he was like, you don't deserve to be here. You're not gonna be here. You have so much bigger things going on in life and you need to get out of here and like find, you know, a life for you elsewhere. So she says that a lot of her Erika Jayne inspired dance moves came from Shakers or came from these clubs that she would work at in New Jersey. That's where she learned how to, you know, make some of these moves. This is also around the same time she started dating her first husband, Tommy. She talks about how when they were driving to Manhattan one day, her and Tom Girardi, her most recent husband, now, you know, estranged husband, as she's in the process of divorcing him. She talks about how when they were passing through one day, she showed him and she's like, oh yeah, that's Shakers. That was one of the clubs they used to dance at. And he's like, oh, well, let's go in and let's get a drink. I want to see these young things. I want to see where I could have picked you up from. And so anyway, they get out of the car and they go in and they had a drink. And Erika's like, oh, I was looking at this girl and she looked like she hated her life. And that was me back when I was in my early 20s. And then she says that Tom said, look, Erika, it only took you 10 years to get across the street, as they drove from New Jersey over to Manhattan. But so in the chapter, she really talks about hustling, learning the value of $1, how she always knew that one day she would own her own airplane, but I guess she didn't envision that the airplane would then be taken away from her. We'll see if she gets another airplane one day, but she talks a lot about her work ethic and the grit that she had and the hustle that she had. And we get more into that in this next chapter. But she ends this chapter, which I thought was interesting and very like foreshadowy. I don't know if it's foreshadowy or like, I don't know, it didn't really age well, but she ends the chapter talking about how the past always comes knocking and says, do you remember me? Because you can't ever run away from your past. And she says, yes, I do. I always remember where I came from and I always remember my past. I was like, oof, well, now your big high roller days are going to be in the past, girl. Then we get into chapter 5, and chapter 5 is called A Play Date with Every Boy. And this gets into her dating life and how, you know, she loved to date a lot of men. And she was like, yes, it's so flirty to be me. She said that she was a bit of a tomboy. So growing up, she was very naturally friendly with a lot of the boys. She would often hang out with the boys. I was the opposite of a tomboy. So I was often hanging out with the girls, you know, and we would gossip a lot. She says that she thinks that what set her apart from the other girls was she was very comfortable with herself. And that's what she thinks attracted the men to her, is she wasn't insecure. She knew who she was and she had a very subtle or very solid comfort level. She talks about her first boyfriend, Johnny, and how she was a freshman and he was a junior. And it was like, ooh, she loved the older men. Ooh. And how she lost her virginity to Jonathan and she was only 14 and they were at his parents' house and he was like, I want to be respectful. And if you're not ready, you're not ready, because I don't want to turn into a Harvey Weinstein Me Too situation one day. She was like, no, it's okay. I'm ready. Let's do this. And then they did it. And she says that she always loved men. She never had a real preference. She didn't have a physical sort of attraction. Thank you so much, good Lord Lori. She talks about how she doesn't have a type. The only thing that she likes, because the men that she's dated have been all over the place, the only thing that she likes are intelligent, ambitious, and successful men, like Tom Girardi, except he's no longer intelligent because he's lost his mind after driving into the ding dong ditch. He's still very ambitious, but he's also no longer successful. So that's probably why she left him. She says that she loves Italian men, but she loves to date Jewish boys. I mean, Jewish boys are nice to date. I don't know if they're the marrying type because they like to cheat. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that because I guess all guys like to cheat. Even though I will say they're a very particular type of guy that slide into my DMs. And then I find out that you have wives. She also talks about the first time she had a threesome, which was with one of her exes and one of his ladies. And he was like, I want to go out to dinner and catch up with you. And she's like, okay, I'll go to dinner and catch up with you. And then they ended up having a threesome, which is also what she talked about this season on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She said that she's only been with a man and another woman, but never with two men. Here's the story. She gets into it. She says that it was great, but she says that she has nothing but boring sex stories because she wasn't as like fluid or open as some of her other friends. So they always had really exciting sex stories and she didn't have that great or exciting of sex stories. And I was kind of like, well, Erika Jayne seems like she's, you know, been to a few dungeons. Then she talks about settling down and being married and having a child at 20 and then getting married again at 27. So, she was always interested in companionship. That was always the goal. That's always what she wanted from men. She talks about meeting her first husband, Tommy. I believe it was at an audition. And then she went to this club called China Club. And it was like the coolest of the coolest spots. And it was the poppin' hot spot. And how that's where she met Tommy, because she walked in there and she's like, yeah, I'm getting lit tonight, Litty City. And then she's like, ooh, that DJ's cute. And then her friend's like, yeah, you know that DJ. And she's like, I don't know that DJ, but I'm taking him home tonight. And then she ended up moving in with him after 6 months of dating, because she was like, Renee, you pay your own damn bills. I'm out, bitch. Peace. And then she left, and then she got pregnant. And Renee was like, it is not expensive to be you. It is a disappointment to be you. And Erika was like, oh. And Renee was like, you're just emulating my life. You were supposed to follow your dreams. And instead of following your dreams, you're following, in my footsteps of having a baby very young. And then she says that Renee referred to her so that people would start to look at her as a used car, which I was like, ooh, Renee, shit, get it together, girl. Like, you need to pull yourself together, Renee. I guess she's trying to on Twitter now, but she referred to Erika as a used car, and she said that she would have a very difficult road ahead. Then she talks about getting married. She got married in 91. Wow, that was before I was born, because I was born in 93. And how she had her bridesmaids wear these very ugly pink dresses. And how once she had her baby, she had a very scheduled, set married life, but that she would have one indulgence, and her one indulgence would happen every Friday. And that one indulgence would be a can of Coke and a Snickers bar. Okay. It's an interesting indulgence. But I mean, I guess that's a fair one, because you get your sugar and you get a Diet Coke. So you feel like, oh, I'm being bad, but I'm being good at the same. Oh, I guess it wasn't Diet Coke. Sorry. It was a regular Coke. But, you're like, ooh, I'm being a bad girl tonight. A bad girl. What's wrong with being a used car? Great point, Sarah. There's nothing wrong with being a used car. Sometimes they're in great condition. She talks about how she didn't look pregnant, but she was very skinny, but had the worst morning sickness, but gave birth to a very healthy young boy. And how she was having this strange back labor because his head was pressed against her back. And she's like, Tommy, I need to go to the hospital. And Tommy is like, no, you need to walk. The Lamaze instructor said that you need to walk. And she's like, no, we need to get a cab to take him to the hospital, because I think the baby is coming now. And Tommy was like, girl, we're too broke. We broke as a joke, and you're going to walk, and we're going to take the subway to the hospital. And she's like, fuck, okay. And so she took the subway to the hospital. And then she had her baby. And then she said that she felt like, they were two souls being reunited after a long break. And it's actually very special the way she speaks. It's very sweet how special and highly she speaks of her son, Tommy Jr. She said that her first call after having the baby was actually to her grandma and not to Renee. And she's like, well, maybe Renee shouldn't have called me a used car. And then she would have been my first call. And I was like, snap, snap. Pat the puss, pat the puss. She talks about how motherhood was just very easy and it came very naturally to her. But how she was young and optimistic, and only a young, optimistic 20-year-old could think that she can have a booming career in entertainment while also being a young mother and being broke. And she says that eventually, a year, 2 years into it, she just wasn't very happy with Tommy. They weren't working out anymore. Which I found was very interesting, that there was a lot of self-awareness that came from her about her first marriage, and how she talks about how she takes responsibility for why her marriage ended, or why it failed, as she described it. And at 18 months old, when her son was 18 months old, her and Tommy broke up and things were done. She talks about how she thinks she may have had postpartum depression. She ended up moving back in with Renee, and how they ruined Renee's life for a little bit, and how she was just really sad and really depressed, and how she always wore these beat up gray sweatpants. That's all she wore. I mean, I'm sure she wore a top as well. And she's like, I would take a shower and I would do everything, but I could just not change into anything else other than my gray sweatpants. And I've never had postpartum depression. Obviously, I've never had a baby, despite what people may believe. I don't have a vagina. So that's not something that I would have one day, even though Lil Nas seems to think that he can do that now with his pregnant belly. But I don't know if there's an attachment thing where if you are suffering from postpartum depression, there's a comfort of just wearing the same thing every day. Or maybe it's a Steve Jobs thing where you don't have to think about anything else, because you know exactly what you're going to wear, so you can focus your attention on other priorities. I'm not really sure. But she talks about how caring for the baby, her mother could even tell that like there was definitely an innate love and a like dire responsibility, but that she was getting really thin and she just wasn't happy with herself, and she chopped off all of her hair, and she was turning into like a soccer mom, and she was feeling really defeated, and how she would go out to work and leave the baby with Renee. And one day she came home and she saw that there was blood on her son's back, and then she touched the back of his head and it was matted with dry blood, and she was like, whoa, what happened? And Renee's like, oh, he fell and cracked his head open. And she's like, oh my gosh, are you not babysitting? And Renee's like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, did you take him to the hospital? And Renee's like, that's not my job, that's your job. I was like, damn, Renee, get it? Like, Renee needs to get her shit together. It's kind of like you lose who you were before you became a mom. Interesting, Lori. I hope to have children in the next couple of years. I will likely end up doing it single, and I'm totally okay with that. But I am a little curious to see how it like changes you and whether you can juggle everything. Because she talks about how she really tried. And then she gets into the fact that she ended up choosing to move to Los Angeles. And she called up Tommy, her ex-husband, her baby daddy. And she was like, look, I need to go and pursue my career. I need to make sure that I can support our child. And if you let me go and get my life established in Los Angeles and build a career for myself in entertainment, then I can come back and be an even better mother, because then I can provide for our kids. Like, I don't know if that's the career choice you want to move into, like go to like UEI, go to DeVry, go to like a trade school and like, become a nurse or something, or a physician's assistant, and then you can provide for your kid. But like a career in entertainment, I don't know if that's, but again, she was young and, naive. And she talks about how that was a great thing because it helped her. She talks about how she always put her son first and frequently traveled back and forth between Los Angeles and New York so that she could be with him, but also be working here in Los Angeles to build a career as an actress or an entertainer. Whew. She said that she still loves Tommy to this day, and she was so grateful to Tommy because it was Tommy and her mother Renee and her grandmother that took care of her son while she was in Los Angeles and juggling and going back and forth. She said that she talked to her son very often, or as often as she could. She says that she still considers Tommy her first husband, family. She also says that her son looks more like her, but his personality is very much Tommy. But I think because like there were those formative years where he was raised by his dad, essentially. But then she also references how after she first joined Housewives and she went to the first premiere party when her son was on LAPD, she called him up and she's like, hey, are you busy? Can you come say hi to me for a minute? And he was like, yeah, I'm actually 5 minutes away from you. I'll come say hi. And how he came and he said hi to her. And as a grown adult, he told her how proud he was of her. And I thought that was really sweet, because like to have your grown adult son that you gave up so much for now tell you that he's proud of you. Like, I just think that that's sweet. Then we get into chapter 6, which is the final chapter we'll break down tonight. And it's called Think Globally. And it talks about how she says that New York is a bitch and the New York audition scene was brutal all year round. And even at 18, you need money to look good because it's expensive to be her. And she talks about how she was broke. She always talks about being broke and how she was so broke as a joke. And yes, in her book and online, you can see him. Oh, Tommy. Oh, I wonder if there's a photo in here and we can, I'm pretty sure there are some photos of Tommy in here. Well, oh, we can see her dancing. Look at me, I'm dancing. Okay, so let's see. We have photos of Mikey and Yolanda and Lisa Rinna and a lot of photos of Tom Girardi and her housewives and Erika looking all cute. Oh, there's like a little photo of her son right there with Tom Girardi. I don't know if that's anything anybody who still wants to. Oh, okay. Oh, there are lots of cute little photos of him in here. Thank you for that recommendation. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Chapter 6, Think Globally. And how she doesn't know how she was dealing with that New York scene and how it was just brutal, but she thinks that everybody should live in New York at some point because it definitely builds you. She says that she graduated from the School of Hard Knocks and it was most helpful that she was young and naive. She talks about the Flirts, which was the first girl band that she ever started recording with Trish and Tracy. Those are the two other girls in the band, and they were called the Flirts. And they would have these little bops. They would just like sing their little hearts out. And how eventually Trish and Tracy ended up being the bridesmaids in her first wedding. Erika then talks about meeting Tracy's dad, and Tracy was very Her family is very wealthy. Her dad was very successful. And her dad told Erika, Tracy's dad told Erika, that if you ever do anything, make sure it has global in the name. Make sure you always think globally. Everything you do has to be big and grand and global. So Tracy's dad was the reason why she ended up naming her company EJ Global. And later on, when Tom was helping her file her paperwork for EJ Global, he was like, why do you want to be EJ Global? And she's like, because Tracy's dad told me to. And Tom was like, all right, whatever. She talks about how she ended up, years after the Flirts ended, she ended up hearing one of their songs, Danger, but it ended up only being Trisha's vocals, but how that happened a couple of times where she would hear these random songs on the radio by the Flirts that they recorded together that were, popping up all over the radio. And she was like, wow, I thought that was done. There was another band that she used to fill in for and do live gigs all over New York called the Idols. She says that she booked a few acting gigs. She actually booked one of her first major acting gigs or one of her first major shows was on Law and Order, like the original OG Law and Order, and how she kept getting hired to play a woman on drugs. And she was cast twice in Law and Order, and how to this day people still send her photos of the time that she was on Law and Order and how she didn't even have lines. She played like a dead woman. She also says that she talks about the time when she was playing a widow and how, she's like, I'm a good actress, but I'm not that good of an actress. I've never lost a husband. And I was like, oh, I don't know. Because according to the internet, they think she's a pretty damn good actress on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills these days. She said that it's a really grueling profession. You constantly hear no, 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 especially when you don't get the part and you just have to constantly deal with that rejection. And that's really challenging. She wanted confirmation and validation, which is probably why she went into the entertainment business. She talks about navigating the business and how she says the entertainment business is for the birds and how talent doesn't always equal success. And I agree. Living in Los Angeles, pursuing a career in entertainment myself, like it's a lie. It is constant rejection. Says that the missing key with a lot of people that don't end up becoming successful is that they're missing a sense of self and they're constantly questioning themselves. And she feels like when she was a lot younger, she was also constantly questioning herself. She recommends living in New York because it'll definitely build you. She said that when she would hit a wall, she would find her own way of doing things and just continue to persevere. She talks about how she needed to move to LA and become bi-coastal because New York just wasn't the place to build a career in entertainment as an actress. She talks about how when she was bi-coastal, her son eventually started becoming bi-coastal as well. And he would stay with his grandma, Renee, and Tommy, her ex-husband, his dad. She talks about how people think that she's a gold digger and she only came to Los Angeles to find a rich man. But she's like, trust me, there are plenty of billionaires out in Manhattan and, out in Manhattan. And I don't need to go to LA to find a rich man. But she does talk about a casting director and how he told her that she has a really big personality. And one day producers will say, go out and get me somebody exactly like Erika. And he told her, no one has what you have. Someday everybody's going to want what you have. And now nobody wants what she has. I think they liked that Erika Jayne persona. But yeah. That day finally came and everyone was like, yeah, I want to channel my inner Erika Jayne. And now it's like, ooh, I don't want that Erika Jayne lifestyle. Look at my life. Look at my fucking life. So yeah, those are the first 3 chapters. I feel like that ended very anticlimactically. But Zack Justine asks Erika to go for a tryout for a dance for In Living Color, possibly Fly Girls. Oh, yes, that's right. Yes. I skipped over that part and how, yes, and Jennifer Lopez ended up getting it and how she was like, yeah, JLo can get it because JLo's a bomb.com. Norma, you look beautiful in your pictures. I agree. What's going on with Norma? I agree. Norma does look gorgeous in her photos. So I'm going to read some of your reactions to chapter 4, 5, and 6. Then we'll do quiz time. We'll do the giveaway. But first, I'm going to do a couple of badge shout outs. Let's do it. Okay. First badge came from Chrissy37X, dropping 3 badges. Carrie Charles dropped 1 badge. Thank you, Carrie Charles. The Norma Maldonado dropped 2 badges. Love you, Norma. You are gorgeous inside and out, boo. Suki Dinton 2018, 3 badges. Love it, Suki. Thank you, Suki. You guys are the bomb.com. I love you. And Gossip in a Glass with 3 badges. I love it. Gossip in a Glass. Are you going to win tonight? You won last week. The crown went to Gossip in a Glass. We're going to see who gets it next. Have you guys ever noticed on IG that all the housewives went on a trip without her? I don't think she's traveling or going on many trips lately, especially not ones that are going to bring her a lot of attention. But I did see that Teddy, Kyle, and Rinna, I believe, there were 3 of them. They went on a trip to Vegas. I did see that. Crystal, thank you for the 3 badges, boo. Love you. Who's getting Liddy City with me tonight? NoFilterWine.com. Delicioso. I'm like Dora the Explorer. Dorit. No, oh, correct. It was Kyle, Dorit, and Teddy. The Sanford sisters. That's funny. Okay. What are your thoughts? I mean, contrary to popular belief, I think she exhibits signs of CPTSD, and not narcissism. I've been diagnosed myself and see a lot of resonance. Interesting. What is CPTSD versus classic PTSD? Or is that classic PTSD? Drinking Drag Me. Yes, I love it. LV Nights Girl. Cheers. Are you going to reorder Drag Me? Like I said, this is the last week it's going to be available at nofilterwine.com. Shelly Girl. Thank you, Shelly Girl, for the 2 badges. Love you. Appreciate you. I mean, okay. Biggest takeaways, I guess, from these 3 chapters are, it's interesting. I know a lot of people were like, oh, she left her son. She's selfish. She's a bitch. She's this and that. She did leave her son. Now reading, obviously you have to take everything she says with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, it's her own perception. And obviously she's not going to try to paint herself in a bad light. She's going to try to paint herself in the best light that she possibly can, to preserve her own ego and reputation. But I think that I did get the fact that there was a lot of like self-reflection. Like she took ownership over why her first marriage ended. She talks about postpartum depression. I think the moments of her son were really strong because she talks about how much she loved him and how much, she felt like she was meant to be a mother and how it came so naturally to her. I think there's honesty and humility in talking about the grit of building a career in entertainment. Like, I think I thought the chapters, I thought that they were great. Is a go-go bar where you're technically not showing your nipples, but you can see your nipples through the teeny tiny little bikini and you're still dancing. Like, are you kind of still a stripper? Maybe. Like, that's where we get into the technicalities of it all. What did Ansley say? Everyone is the way they are based on the lenses that they were given for the perspective. They have their best life experiences. It's interesting to read and see why she was the way that she was. I agree. I know a lot of people were like not happy that we were doing this book for book club, but at the same time, I'm also just like, it's actually interesting to get to know these people and listen to their story through their own lens and through their own perspective, as Ansley broke down in the comment right here. Like, I actually think it's interesting. And I think, it brings context. Does that justify anything? Not necessarily, but I think it definitely provides a lot of context. And I mean, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. If a father did the same, nobody would bat an eye. It's hypocritical of people to say she didn't raise him. I agree. I mean, well, she also doesn't really clarify how long she was in Los Angeles or how long she was apart from him. Maybe that was a selective choice to like not talk about how long it actually was. But do I love that decision? No. I don't know. It's hard. Like, I feel like it's easy to judge that. Obviously, I don't think I could ever do that. I think I would bust my ass off to find a way to build. I think I would want to build my career in entertainment before I have children and make sure I'm in a stable, secure place. Obviously, she got pregnant very young, so she didn't have the luxury of being able to do that. I think that's a luxury I have as a gay man, is I know I'm probably not going to get anybody pregnant, and I'm probably not going to get knocked up myself. So having a baby is a choice that I can have. It's a privilege to be able to make that choice down the line and have options to be able to do that. I can acknowledge that. I don't know. I understand people's judgment toward that, especially parents. Like I understand, like a lot of people I'm sure would never make that decision. And I respect that. And I totally understand that. A lot of people would not leave their children. And that is pretty selfish. Okay, Chantel Kendall. Every Bravo podcaster has jumped on the popular bandwagon to drag Erika. Zack, I appreciate that you haven't jumped on that bandwagon, Trent, and are willing to say she's very misunderstood. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's very easy to drag her. I think it's very easy to drag any of the housewives when they're the villains or they're having a bad season or, you know, they're caught up in a scandal. It's very easy to judge people. However, I like to come at things objectively and share my opinion honestly as the information comes to me. My job isn't to be the authority and say, I'm right, everybody listen to me. My job is to present the information as unbiased and objectively as I can and hope that you come to your own conclusion. I do have opinions myself. I will share my opinions myself. You don't have to agree with them. I know there are plenty of people that like, I don't always agree with you, but I like you and I appreciate your perspective because sometimes you make me think about things differently. And I'm like, okay, that's great. That lets me know that I'm doing my job. And like, here's the thing. I have no benefit in even remotely trying to defend Erika or understand Erika or bring context to the situation. Like my reviews on iTunes, I've never gotten so many 1-star reviews or people dragging me on iTunes or dragging me in the YouTube comments. Like if anything, it would be so much easier for me to double down and jump on the bandwagon and just hate her for the sake of hating her without real reason or without real cause, just because it's the easy thing to do and it's an easy way to get likes and support. I can do that. That's not in me. I ain't that bitch. I don't play the game. I can only be honest and real. Has Clown finally laid off your DMs? He has. But I'm probably going to end up hearing from him again. I had to give an interview where I was asked specifically about him. I don't know if any of what I gave in the interview in reference to him will be used. However, I think if anything is used, I will probably end up hearing from him again. If you could interview her, what would you ask her? That's a really good question. If I could interview Erika, we do have to get to quiz time and we will get to that in 2 minutes. But if I could interview Erika, what would I ask her? I mean, I would be like, give it to me straight. What did you know? I don't think we believe that you didn't know anything. So what did you know? And so I would obviously want to talk to her after all of the legal scandal has been settled and, you know, the settlements have been finished. But I would want to be, that would be my number one question is, what did you know? And why did it take you so long to show true, genuine support for the victims with no judgment? Like, obviously, it's a really challenging situation. People react in a very fight or flight sort of way. So without judgment, I would want to know, like, what took you so long? Were you really wrapped up in your own head? Were you wrapped up in your own tunnel vision of the circumstances, only looking at yourself? And like, what did you know? Like, honestly, like, I don't think we believe that you didn't know anything, but did you ever speculate? Did you ever think that maybe something was off when all of these lawsuits were coming in? Did you just blindly trust him? Or were there questions in the back of your mind? He is actually not what? Are you guys fighting? Don't fight. I don't like when you fight. Have you ever thought about doing a true crime podcast? You're so good at staying objective. No, I have not thought about doing true crime. I don't like true crime. I don't fuck with true crime only because like they're really sad and like really heavy and really dark. Like I sometimes get overwhelmed with the housewives bullshit, let alone having to do true crime. And you're like, you know, and he killed his wife and he's still on the loose and this is how he killed her. Like, no, I can't. I'm sorry. No way, Jose. Other people do it and other people are great at it. And I will stay in my own lane. I love Crystal. You're right. I love Crystal on Real Housewives, not crystal meth. At least I wasn't doing crystal meth all night in the bathroom all night long, bitch. Hey, Boo. Hey, Alicia. Cheers, guys. Okay, are we ready for quiz time? Zack is fair and honest. I try to be. I don't think that I always am, but I try to be. True crime is so sad and so cold. Yeah, I don't think I have the heart or the stomach or the mental stamina to do true crime. All right. Are we ready for quiz time? Because I have the quiz questions ready. For those of you that have a copy, yes, absolutely, Sue. I agree. Guys, don't fight. Zack tells it like it is and has no filter. Love him. Thank you, Alicia. That's so sweet of you. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Crystal S5580 for the 3 badges. Thank you, Shelly Girl, for the 2 badges. Thank you all for all the badges and all the love. All right. Grab your copy so that you're ready. We're going to start. You know, we go in order, chapter 4, 5, and 6. So these answers appear in the book as I am asking you the questions. If you haven't caught on by now, as I do the recap, I basically give you all of the answers when I'm recapping things. If I am adamant about a very specific detail, it's probably because I'm going to ask you about that very specific detail at the end of our live. Okay. Quiz time. Who is ready to win a Liddy City tank top or a no filter hat? I'm pretty sure as we get into the fall and the warmer weather sets in, we'll have more fun merch. So it's not just Liddy City tank tops and no filter hats. It'll grow. And I'm still considering maybe bringing back the merch store. I'm not fully sold on it. We'll see. Even though I hate Crystal, I respect your thoughts and opinions. Thank you. A lot of people seem to hate Crystal. If you notice, I definitely go towards the contrary opinion. I don't follow the fray. If anything, I'm very rebellious in that way, that I will go to the opposite of what the fray tells me that I should be liking or doing. I'm tipsy, but on White Claw. Sorry, no wine tonight. That's okay, Alicia. All right, let's do it. Chapter 4, question. So we have 11 quiz questions, okay? 11 quiz questions. Last week's winner was Gossip in a Glass. Let's see who's going to take home the prize tonight. Are we ready? Quiz. Oh, Blair's not here. Blair's always here. Okay. Question number 1 from chapter 4. What was the first club Erika ever worked at? What was the first club that Erika ever worked at? This was the one in Passaic. I know you're going to yell at me for mispronouncing that. Passaic, New Jersey. It was not Shakers, Ansley. Yes, that's right. Gossip in a Glass got it. The Palace. Gossip in a Glass got the first point. It is the Palace. It was not Shakers. Shakers came later. Shakers is the one that she introduced Tom to. Now, I don't believe she ever introduced him to the Palace, but the Palace was the first one that she ever worked at. Question numero 2. Gossip is killing it again. Gossip won last week. Crystal is the only one that's won 2 consecutive weeks in a row and 2 weeks overall. So Crystal is in the lead for shizzle my nizzle. Sorry, guys. I have nose hairs. I don't do cocaine, but I have like nose hairs and they itch sometimes. Oh, man problems. Okay. Question number 2. Erika's friend Justine used a different name when she was dancing. What was her alter ego name? Dun, dun, dun. What was her alter ego name? Did Norma get it first? On as it pops up in my screen, it was Ansley who wrote Shakers, Gossip in a Glass who wrote the Palace, or the Palaces, but it's still technically correct. And then Norma's was entered right after Gossip in a Glass, writing Palace. So according to my Instagram, Gossip in a Glass' answer came up before Norma's. Is everybody else's screen different? Okay, question number 2, the first person. Yes, that is correct. Justice, Norma was the first person to get that one. It was Norma, and then Gossip in a Glass, and then Good Lord Lori. That is all. You guys are all correct. It is Justice. No, Norma came after Gossip in a Glass. Yeah, that's how my screen shows it. For question number 1, Gossip in a Glass got it first. Question number 2, Norma's answer came in first. You just have to be really quick. Really fast before Ansley's first answer. Interesting. I wonder if it just took a while to submit it, but if other people saw first, I don't know how it works, guys. I'm sorry. It just goes off of what Instagram shows me. But you got the second point, Norma. You got the second point. Okay, question number 3. Question number 3. Oh, Gossip in a Glass did say it twice. That's correct, Surfer Wife. Gossip in a Glass typed it in twice. The first answer I did see first, right after Ansley. Okay, Normal. Well, don't be lit. Well, yes, obviously we want you to be lit, girl. Okay, get ready. Fast fingers. Zach, you need to just send everyone merch. Well, I feel like at this point, everyone's winning. A different person wins every week. Okay. Question number 3. What was the first name of the bar Erika worked for that was seized by the feds? So we know the first bar she worked at was the Palace, but what was the bar that got seized by the feds? What was it? What was the bar? What was the name of the bar? We don't need to know where, just the name of the bar. Question number 3, chapter 4. What was the name of the bar that got seized by the feds? It was not Shakers. It was not Shakers. Navy. Yes, Navy. Anna's going to get it because LV Knights Girl, your answer came up first, but you only said Navy. And the name of the bar is Navy Base. Or sorry, Naval Base. So Navy was close. It was in the same family, but the name of the bar was the Naval Base. So Anna gets this point. Anna, you got it, girl. Anna. Boom, boom, pow. I like that. Boom, boom, pow. Them chickens. Everyone's saying Shakers. It was definitely not Shakers. Guys, I'm telling you, the answers are in the book. If you skim it really quickly, I'm asking these questions in order as they appear. So it's like on the next page or two. Oh, it wasn't a real naval base. No, that was the name of the, I need to read more and drink less. I love it, Ansley. You're so hilarious. Okay. The next question, since everyone keeps answering Shakers for all of their answers tonight, after Shakers burned down, what was their cheesy slogan? Yay, you finally have a point, Anna. Yes, that is, you got a point, girl. I love it. What was Shakers' cheesy slogan after they had burned down? Drink more, read less. No, that was not their slogan. That's Ansley's slogan for tonight. Drink more, read less. I should have gotten that. Well, you can still get it, Sue. So hot it burns down. That's right. We burn so hot. No, Norman. Close, but not really. Gossip in a Glass got this one. So hot it burns down. Wow, Gossip in a Glass is coming to win, you guys. Gossip got question number 4. So far, Gossip is in the lead with 2 points. Boom, boom, boom. Gossip, are you gonna win 2 in a row? So hot it burns. Yes. It's so fucking hot in here tonight. I need to turn on my AC, but I can't turn it on because it comes from my phone, and my phone is being broadcast at the moment. Okay. Here's the next. Yes, we do love Gossip. Damn, Gossip in a Glass isn't playing. That's right. Gossip in a Glass. The first few weeks with the Dorinda book, Gossip in a Glass was always like the second or third person to answer the question. And now Gossip is ready. And Gossip's like, fuck this shit. We going hard. Okay, so here's the rule. If you win a first time, you get to choose Liddy City tank top or a hat. If you win a second time, obviously you get whatever you didn't get last time. And if you win 3 times, you'll get a 12-pack variety pack of the rosé. I'll send you a case of the rosé. So that'll be, if you win 3 times, that'll be your prize. Okay, question number 5. Are you ready? Question number 5. I believe this also comes from chapter 4. This is the last question in chapter 4. What was Lobotomy John always trying to give the girls to eat? What was Lobotomy John always trying to give the girls to eat? Come on, this is an easy one. You probably think of it when you look at me. Lobotomy John was always trying to give people a ride home, and then he was like, but I have this to offer up instead. Wow. Oh So Loca was the first person to get it. Oh So Loca. Lobotomy John fruit cup. That's right. Wow. We have a lot of new people jumping in and getting these points. Oh So Loca. 1 point for you. So far, Gossip in a Glass is still in the lead with 2 points. All right. Next question. Good job, guys. A snack. Yes. He did try to give him a snack. Next question. Question number 6. This comes from chapter 5. When Erika first met her husband, or when Erika met her first husband, Tommy, What was his job? When Erika met her first husband, Tommy, what was his job? She met him at the China Club. And what was his job? Or she saw him at the China Club. She met him on an audition and saw him at the China Club. And what was his job? What was his job? That's right, Lori. Good Lord, Lori. It is your first time in the book club. But here you are, a fur dude. Oh, I don't know what a fur dude is. An EJ. So he was not an EJ. But yes, you guys are right. He was a DJ. And the person that got it first was Good Lord, Lori. Good Lord, Lori. Wow. Like it is like they're, aside from Gossip in a Glass leading by 1 point, everybody else has been answering. Everyone's new and they've been answering and they've been good. I love it. I like when you guys are Liddy City and answering all of these. Didn't he or isn't he selling furs? Did he? Is he? Not EJ, but DJ. Yeah, not EJ, but DJ. Yes, he was a DJ. And he was a DJ at China Club or China Club, I believe was the China Club. Question number 7. Are you ready, Freddie? Gotta stop drinking. No, keep drinking. It makes things more interesting. I'm getting Liddy City off of this wine, and I'm over here trying to be showmaster. Okay. So far in the lead is still Gossip in a Glass. Question number 7. Erika said after having her son, there was one article of clothing that she always wore. What was that article of clothing? Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Good night, Sarah. Thanks for tuning in and joining us tonight. Love you. Gray sweatpants. Wow. Good Lord, Lori is like, this is my first time here and I'm coming to slay. Good Lord, Lori is now tied for the lead with Gossip in a Glass. Damn, guys. Yes, yes, yes. You're all correct. Oh, so Loca, Sue, Suki, Gossip in a Glass, LV Knights Girl. You were all correct. It was, well, gray sweatpants. Yes, gray sweatpants or sweatpants both work. Good Lord, Lori got that point. So right now, Gossip in a Glass and Good Lord Lori are in the lead. We're on question number 8 out of 11. So you guys got to jump right in. Question number 8. I believe this was the final chapter. Technically, chapters 5 and 6, this answer appears in. When Erika left to Los Angeles, who did she leave her son with? There were 3 people. Who were the 3 people that were taking care of her son while she was living in Los Angeles? Dun, dun, dun. Shit, I'm going on a walk and typing, plus I'm lit. Oh my God, Norma, I love it. I love this vibe for you, girl. Renee was one of them, but I need all 3 people. Her husband was one of them. I need you to list all 3 people. Renee, Tommy, yep. Tommy and Grandma, Tommy and Renee. Okay, Anna is the first person that listed all 3 people, Tommy, Mom, and Grandma. Yes. Anna. Wow. Wow. Guys, are we in a 3-way? We're in a 3-way tie right now between Gossip in a Glass, Anna, and Good Lord Lori. Each with 2 points. Oh So Loca has 1 point. Norma has 1 point. But in the lead is Gossip in a Glass, Good Lord Lori, and Anna, each with 2 points. And we only have, dun, dun, dun. We only have 3 questions left. Are you ready? Who is going to win this? We have 3 people leading this right now. Who is going to win this? Question number 9 comes from chapter 6. Question number 9 is, what was the name of the first band that Erika sang in? What was the name of the band that Erika sang in? Good Lord Lori. Wow. Good Lord Lori has taken the lead. The Flirts is correct. Wow. Lori is in the lead with 3 points. Right behind Lori is Anna and Gossip in a Glass with 2 points each. Flirts is incorrect, but close. Gossip in a Glass. Lori, you can't play next week. Lori just joined. Lori's like, this is my first time doing book club, and I'm in it to win it. I came to slay. And I don't hate it. I'm like, yeah, get it. Let's go, girl. Okay. Last 2 questions. So far, Lori is in the lead. We have 2 more questions. Question number 10. Who told Erika, if you ever do anything, make sure you think globally, which ultimately inspired EJ Global? Who told Erika? You have to drink, Suki. That's part of the fun. Or actually, sorry, Instagram, they don't have to drink. I don't want Instagram to yell at me. You don't have to drink, only if you want to. Damn, Gossip in a Glass is back. Gossip in a Glass is the first person to answer. And now we're in a 2-way tie between Gossip in a Glass and Good Lord Lori, with only 1 question left. Holy guacamole. The correct, yes, the answer is Tracy's dad. Tracy's dad. I don't know, it rhymes with that. Tracy's dad is a really fine lad. Wrong dad. What do you mean wrong dad? Not Trisha's dad. It was Tracy's dad. Yeah, Anna, it was not Trisha's dad. It was Tracy's dad. Tiebreaker. This is it. Who's going to get it, you guys? Who's going to get it? This is an easy one. This is an easy one. Final question. Deadlock tie between Gossip in a Glass and Good Lord Lori. Are you ready? Question number 11. What was the first major TV show Erika appeared in? What was the first TV show Erika appeared in? Log Cabin Girl, yes, I can see your questions. Tracy's dad is really, really bad. He wants to pat me on the puss. Okay. It was not LA Law. That is incorrect. LV Knights Girl, I will give it to you. Law in Order. Sure, that's close enough. You were the first person to get it close enough. So LV Knights Girl, but we're still in a tie, you guys. Okay, so that is all the questions. Nobody's won yet. Lori didn't get it yet. LV Knights Girl got it first. The original. Yes, that is correct. Good Lord, Lori. Okay. Hey, I was ahead. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm going based off of when Instagram filters them in. I know sometimes when some people type them in, it shows up on their feed before it reads anybody else's. But this is how Instagram's showing it to me, guys. I'm sorry. I know it shows it differently on other people's screens. I think some of it has to do with your Wi-Fi and like when it's reading. I don't know. It's not my fault. Don't yell at me. But we're still in a deadlock tie between Gossip in a Glass and Lori. I think we need just one tiebreaker for the 2 of them. I know, fuck technology. I agree with you. Man sucks. What man? Well, I mean, Log Cabin Girl, what's going on? What sucks? Men, I agree, men suck. Okay, let's see. What is going to be the tiebreaker question? We need to do something fun. Okay. Gray sweatpants, postpartum depression, motherhood, Lamaze class. Let's see. Okay, here's a good fun one. What was the name? Okay, what was the name of Erika's boyfriend, her first boyfriend that she lost her virginity to? This is only for Gossip in a Glass and for Lori. Gossip and Lori, the only 2 people that can answer this because they're the ones that are in the tiebreaker. What was the name of Erika's first boyfriend that she lost her virginity to at 14, mind you? 14's very young. Yes, this is between just the 2 of them. Norma, you're not supposed to answer. Gossip in a Glass got it. Oh, wait, no. Was that right? Shit, I just lost it. Jonathan. Yes. John, Johnny, Jonathan. Yes, that is all correct. Everybody's answering and giving them Gossip in a Glass one. Wow. Gossip in a Glass is your second win in a row. Wow. That's awesome. So far, Gossip in a Glass, and I wanted to help them. That's cheating, Norma. Gossip answered. Yes, Gossip was the first one to answer and answer it correctly. It was John, Johnny, or Jonathan. All of those answers would have worked because I believe she refers to him as more than one in the book. I have written down Jonathan, which is his full name. Congratulations to Gossip in a Glass. She's won for the second week in a row. So I know last week you won a Liddy City tank top. So this week you'll win a No Filter cap. Will be coming to you shortly. Great job, Gossip in a Glass. Congrats on winning. This was so much fun, you guys. I had a blast with everybody tonight. And we have Gossip in a Glass and we have Crystal. So if Gossip in a Glass or Crystal win again, the only other next prize is to get a 12 pack variety pack of No Filter Rosé. Hey, boom, boom, pow. I'm coming in strong next game. I hear you, Good Lord Lori. We have to give it up to Good Lord Lori as the runner-up. First book club. Like, I'm here for this. So when Gossip in a Glass wins her third, she'll invite me to drink Drag Me. Well, actually, no. I mean, Drag Me is going to be, I mean, this is the last week we're selling Drag Me, but I'll send you the variety pack of the OG4 cans because those are the ones that'll still be on sale moving forward. But if you guys want Drag Me, this is the last week that it'll be on sale. NoFilterWine.com. That was great, you guys. That was fun. It was heated. Normally, we always have like one front winner that's like smoking everybody else. This was fun, you guys. What a good time. Do we want to do happy hour tonight? Or not happy hour, after party? Okay, well, thank you guys. I'm going to wrap this up. I'll do a quick after party over on my personal account, Just Plain Zack. So if anybody, I know it's late for some people, if you want to stay up, I'll open up a second can of rosé and we'll do make Drag Me forever. Possibly. Maybe. We'll see. Can Gossip be invited to your broadcast? Be cool. Invited to my broadcast. What am I broadcasting? I'm literally broadcasting on Instagram Live from my apartment. If anybody wants to stay up, I will do after party over at Just Plain Zack. So you can go and follow me there. I'll go live in a few minutes. Yes, Zack Pack. That's right. LV Night Girl knows the after parties for the Zack Pack. Thank you guys. Next week, we'll be breaking down chapters 7, 8, and 9. So make sure you have your chapters read for next Tuesday. We will be going live at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 Eastern on the Instagram. It'll get rebroadcast onto the YouTube. Good time. Lots of fun. Thank you guys for joining book club tonight. Get some No Filter wine. If you want to have some fun, please drink responsibly. Instagram, I'm not encouraging bad behavior. Instagram, I'm not doing that. Drink responsibly, guys. Liddy City all night long. NoFilterWine.com. Listen to the podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and we go live every Thursday nights. Gets uploaded onto the podcast every Friday, so you can join the live tapings or you can catch it Friday mornings, the rebroadcast. Be sure to subscribe on the YouTube. If you're watching this on the YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button so you're always notified with the latest book clubs, with the latest tea, with the latest interviews. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up, so get ready. Thank you guys so much. Love you guys so much. I have some personal updates that I'll give you guys in the after party, so stay tuned. You can give me a follow at Just Plain Zack on my personal account. Follow the Instagram at No Filter with Zack, and I will talk to you guys all very, very soon. Very, very soon. Very, very soon. All right. Ciao for now. Night, guys. Bye.